So, what feels different in an Agile internal audit? Let's start with a rhetorical question. Can we create a perfect plan before starting fieldwork? Well, no, of course not. We're going to learn things that should make us rethink priorities, especially in today's rapidly changing risk landscape. We need to expect or even demand that our teams learn and adapt throughout an audit. But working in a linear, sequential fashion doesn't really encourage that. In fact, the new IIA standards recognize this. They say, although the standards for performing engagements are presented in a sequence, the steps in performing engagements are not always distinct, linear, and sequential. In practice, the order in which steps are performed may vary by engagement and have overlapping and iterative aspects. End quote. Agile audit teams work in 2-week intervals called sprints. They're still planning fieldwork and reporting, but they do a little bit of each in each sprint. When they meet with the auditee at the end of a sprint, they don't say, we're 40% done with this and 60% done with that. They say, we looked at this segment of scope, we concluded that X and Y are in good shape, but there's a finding with Z that requires action, and here is language that's going in the final report. Now, most auditors' first reaction to this is, hey, that sounds great in theory, but there's no way we're going to reach conclusions after just 2 weeks. Granted, it's not easy. It takes coaching, effort, a couple of stumbles, learning, and adaptation. But it's worth it because working this way has profound effects on your team and on the business. First, limiting work in progress lets you get more done. Have you ever had a day where you worked on a dozen things but didn't accomplish anything? Thing is, when you stop one thing and start something else, you lose productivity. Neuroscientists call this context switching. So, having a bias towards finishing one thing instead of starting something else lets you get more done. Also, working in sprints lets you get the most important work done first, not the easiest work first. You prioritize on value and get results to the business quickly so they can act. Then move on to the next most important thing. Footnote: prioritize hand in hand with the business. Yes, what you audit is your prerogative. That doesn't change. But closer and more frequent engagement on value and priority increases business impact. It's the framework of sprinting that enables this conversation. We're giving and receiving feedback more frequently, so we're taking the business on the journey with us. When we reach the end, we're arriving together. This contrasts to the old way, requesting a bunch of information, disappearing for 3 or 4 months, and coming back with a list of gotchas. You'll stop hearing from the business, they're here ticking boxes again, and you'll start hearing, they're helping me run my business better. I'd love to help you achieve this. If you'd like to learn more, drop me a note here or look me up at agile-ia.com.